There's something I need to tell you, not tomorrow, not when the lights are perfect, not when you feel ready, right now. You've been carrying something inside you, a quiet weight, a sentence that begins with, I have a secret, and ends with silence. You've built walls around it. You've smiled through it. You've convinced yourself that hiding it makes you stronger. But here's the truth. The secret isn't what's holding you back. The fear of being seen is. We spend so much of our lives pretending we're unbreakable, pretending we don't doubt ourselves, pretending we don't hurt. And in that pretending, we slowly disappear. We trade authenticity for approval. We trade courage for comfort. I have a secret for you, and it's not about hiding. It's about freedom. Freedom begins the moment you stop running from who you are. The moment you stand still in your own truth, even if your voice shakes. Especially if your voice shakes, because the strongest people you will ever meet are not the ones without secrets. They are the ones who faced them. Tonight, this isn't about confession. It's about courage. It's about taking that thing you buried deep inside and realizing it does not define your weakness. It reveals your humanity. And there is nothing more powerful than a human being who decides to stop hiding. I have a secret for you. It's not the kind you whisper in someone's ear. It's not the kind you lock in a drawer or bury in the past. It's the kind that lives in your chest, the kind that changes the way you breathe, the kind that keeps you awake at night and follows you into every room you walk into. The secret is this. You are not as alone as you think. You've been carrying something. Maybe it's regret. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's a dream so big it scares you. Maybe it's pain you never gave yourself permission to feel. You've wrapped it in silence. You've told yourself it's safer that way. You've convinced yourself that strength means keeping it together, keeping it hidden, keeping it controlled. But strength isn't control. Strength is honesty. We grow up learning how to survive. Smile when it hurts. Nod when you disagree. Stay quiet when your heart is screaming. We become professionals at pretending, professionals at blending in, professionals at hiding the parts of ourselves that don't look polished enough for the world. And after a while, we forget who we were before the performance began. You don't wake up one day and decide to hide. It happens slowly. A comment that made you shrink, a failure that made you doubt, a betrayal that made you close your heart. Piece by piece, you build armor. You tell yourself it's protection. You tell yourself it's maturity. But armor is heavy, and you've been carrying it for years. The secret I want to tell you is not about becoming someone else. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about remembering that you were never meant to live divided, that the part of you that feels deeply is not a flaw, that the part of you that questions everything is not weakness, that the part of you that wants more meaning, more connection, more truth is not selfish. It's human. You see, we spend so much time trying to become acceptable to our families, acceptable to strangers who will forget our names. We edit ourselves. We soften our edges. We dim our lights so we don't make anyone uncomfortable. And in that dimming, we lose something sacred. You don't need to be smaller to be loved. You don't need to hide your secret to be worthy. The world will tell you that vulnerability is dangerous, that if you let people see your fears, they'll use them against you, that if you admit you're struggling, you'll lose respect, that if you reveal your dream, you risk failure. And that's true. You might. But here's the other truth. If you never reveal it, you lose anyway. Because the cost of hiding is not safety, it's distance. Distance from others, distance from yourself, distance from the life you could have lived if you had chosen courage over comfort. Courage doesn't always look loud. It doesn't always look like standing on a stage or making a grand declaration. Sometimes courage is quiet. Sometimes it's a whisper. Sometimes it's simply admitting to yourself, I'm not okay, or I want more, or I'm afraid. There is something powerful about naming the thing that scares you. It loses some of its grip. It stops being a shadow and becomes something you can face. I have a secret for you. The people you admire, they're scared too. the ones who seem confident, the ones who seem unshakable, the ones who walk into a room and command attention. They have doubts, they have insecurities, they have nights where they question everything. The difference is not that they don't feel fear, it's that they don't let fear make their decisions. You've been waiting for a moment when you feel ready, ready to speak, ready to try, ready to tell the truth. But readiness is a myth. There is no perfect time. There is no perfect version of you that suddenly appears and says, now you're worthy. You are worthy now. Even with the doubts, even with the unfinished plans, even with the secret you've been carrying, you don't have to reveal everything to everyone. Not every truth is meant for every ear, but there is at least one place where you must stop hiding with yourself. Be honest about what you want. Be honest about what hurts. Be honest about what you're pretending not to care about. The moment you stop lying to yourself is the moment your I begins to shift. We talk about transformation like it's dramatic, like it's a lightning strike, like it's a sudden reinvention, but real change is quieter than that. It's choosing differently in small moments. It's saying no when you used to say yes. It's speaking up when you used to stay silent. It's walking away when you used to chase. It's telling yourself the truth. The secret isn't that you're broken. The secret is that you've been stronger than you realized all along. Every time you survived something you thought would destroy you, every time you kept going when it would have been easier to quit, every time you chose kindness when you were hurt, that's strength. Not the loud kind, the real kind. You don't need to impress anyone. You don't need to perform your resilience. You don't need to prove that you're unaffected by pain. You are allowed to be affected. You are allowed to take your time. There's a version of you that exists beyond fear. Not a fearless version, a brave one. A version that knows fear is present, but refuses to let it sit in the driver's seat. A version that understands that rejection won't end you, that failure won't define you, that vulnerability won't erase you. That version is not far away. It's you, right now. The secret I have for you is simple. The thing you're most afraid to reveal might be the very thing that connects you to the world. The struggle you hide could be the bridge to someone else's healing. The dream you're embarrassed to admit could inspire someone who feels just as lost. But even if no one else ever knows, even if no applause comes, even if no validation arrives, telling the truth to yourself changes everything. Because when you stop hiding, you stop shrinking. And when you stop shrinking, you start living. Not perfectly, not flawlessly, but honestly. And honesty is powerful. You don't need to make it dramatic. You just need to stop running from it. Sit with it, understand it, accept it. Let it be part of your story instead of something you erase from the pages. Your life is not meant to be a highlight reel. It's meant to be real. There will be days when the doubt comes back, days when you want to retreat into old habits, days when hiding feels easier. That's okay. Growth is not a straight line. Courage is not permanent. It's a choice you make again and again. And every time you choose truth, you get a little lighter. Every time you choose honesty, you get a little freer. I have a secret for you. You don't need permission to be who you are, not from your past, not from your mistakes, not from the people who misunderstood you, not from the ones who left, not from the ones who stayed but never really saw you. You are already enough to begin. Begin the conversation, begin the change, begin the risk, begin the healing, begin the dream. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know the entire path. You just have to take one honest step, one step away from hiding, one step into the life that feels real instead of rehearsed. And when you take that step, something shifts, not outside, inside. A quiet alignment, a sense that you are no longer divided, that the person you show the world and the person you are alone at night are finally becoming the same. That is freedom, not the absence of fear, but the absence of pretending. I have a secret for you. You've been ready longer than you think. The courage to be seen. There is a quiet battle happening inside you, not the kind anyone else can hear, not the kind that leaves bruises or broken bones. It's quieter than that. It's the tension between who you are and who you think you need to be. It's the gap between your truth and your presentation. And every single day you stand in that space and make a choice. Most days you choose safety, you choose the version of yourself that feels acceptable, the one that doesn't make waves, the one that fits neatly into conversations, the one that won't be questioned, judged, or misunderstood. You smooth out your rough edges. You swallow the words that feel too honest. You nod when you want to disagree. You laugh when you don't find it funny. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to disappear. Being seen is not about attention. It's not about standing in a spotlight or having 1,000 eyes on you. Being seen is about being known. It's about letting someone witness your thoughts without editing them first. It's about allowing your flaws to exist without rushing to cover them up. It's about standing in your own skin without apologizing for taking up space. And that takes courage, because the moment you decide to be seen, you risk rejection. You risk someone misunderstanding you. You risk someone walking away. You risk someone deciding you are too much or not enough. You risk losing the illusion of control that hiding gives you. And for a lot of people, that risk feels unbearable. So you hide. You hide your sensitivity behind sarcasm. You hide your ambition behind humility. You hide your pain behind strength. You become skilled at performing, skilled at reading rooms, skilled at shaping yourself into whatever version will cause the least friction. You tell yourself it's maturity. You tell yourself it's wisdom. But deep down, you know it's fear, fear of being fully known, because being fully known means someone could choose not to stay. And here is the hard truth. Some people won't. Not everyone is meant to walk with you when you decide to be real. Some relationships were built on the version of you that was easier to manage. Some connections were formed around who you pretended to be. When you change, when you become more honest, when you stop shrinking, those dynamics shift. And that can feel like loss, but what you lose in comfort, you gain in alignment. The courage to be seen starts with a simple decision. I will no longer abandon myself to keep others comfortable. That decision doesn't happen once. It happens over and over again, in conversations, in relationships, in career choices, in moments when you feel the old urge to stay silent. It's a practice, a discipline, a quiet rebellion against a part of you that believes you must earn love by being smaller. You were not designed to live as a watered-down version of yourself. Think about the energy it takes to maintain a mask, the constant awareness, the calculation, the second guessing. Was that too much? Did I say the wrong thing? Should I tone it down? That mental noise is exhausting. And after a while, you don't even remember what it feels like to be natural. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to move while fear is present. It's speaking even when your voice trembles. It's admitting you don't have it all figured out. It's saying, this matters to me, even if someone rolls their eyes. When you allow yourself to be seen, you create the possibility of real connection, not surface level approval, not polite agreement, real connection, the kind where someone says, me too, the kind where someone recognizes their own struggle in your honesty. But you cannot experience that kind of connection if you are hiding. You cannot be loved for who you are if no one knows who you are. And yes, that's terrifying. There's a vulnerability in being seen that feels like standing without armor. It feels exposed. It feels uncertain. It feels like you've handed someone a fragile piece of yourself and you're waiting to see what they'll do with it. Some will handle it carelessly. Some will handle it with reverence. The point is not to guarantee the outcome. The point is to stop living in a way that guarantees your own invisibility. You deserve to be known, not for your achievements, not for your productivity, not for how well you meet expectations, but for your thoughts, your quirks, your passions, your doubts, your history, your scars, your questions, your laughter that comes out a little too loud, your silence when you're overwhelmed, the way your eyes light up when you talk about something that matters to you. All of it. The courage to be seen also means accepting that you are not perfect. It means letting go of the illusion that you must present a flawless image. Perfection is safe because it's distant. It doesn't invite scrutiny, it doesn't invite intimacy, but it also doesn't invite real love. Real love requires reality, and reality is messy. You will say the wrong things sometimes. You will misjudge situations. You will reveal parts of yourself and later wonder if you shared too much. That's part of the process. Courage is not clean, it's human. The more you practice being seen, the less terrifying it becomes. Not because rejection disappears, but because your relationship with yourself strengthens. You start to trust that even if someone walks away, you will not abandon yourself. You will not retreat into hiding as punishment. You will not shrink as an apology for existing. That self-trust is powerful. It changes the way you walk into rooms, it changes the way you speak, it changes the way you choose relationships. You stop chasing validation and start seeking alignment. You stop asking, do they like me? And start asking, do I feel real here? That shift alone can transform your life. There will be moments when you feel exposed, moments when your honesty is met with silence, moments when you question whether hiding would have been easier. In those moments, remember this: discomfort is not a sign you're doing something wrong. Sometimes it's a sign you're finally doing something right. Growth feels like stretching. It feels unfamiliar. It feels vulnerable. But on the other side of that vulnerability is freedom. Freedom from constant self-monitoring. Freedom from pretending. Freedom from living divided. When you are seen, truly seen, and accepted, something inside you relaxes. You no longer have to perform. You no longer have to calculate every move. You can simply exist, and that kind of existence is rare and precious. But even before anyone else sees you, you must see yourself. Acknowledge your fears. Acknowledge your desires. Acknowledge the parts of you that you've labeled too sensitive, too ambitious, too emotional, too different. Question those labels. Ask yourself who gave them to you. Ask yourself whether they are true or whether they were just someone else's discomfort projected onto you. Being seen starts with self-acceptance. It starts with standing in front of your own reflection and deciding that you will not treat yourself like a problem to be solved. It starts with speaking to yourself with honesty instead of criticism. It starts with allowing your complexity to exist without demanding that it be simplified. You are allowed to be layered. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to outgrow the version of yourself that learned to hide. The courage to be seen is not loud. It doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like setting a boundary. Sometimes it looks like saying no. Sometimes it looks like admitting you need help. Sometimes it looks like choosing a path that others don't understand. It is quiet, steady bravery. And the more you choose it, the more you realize something important. The world doesn't end when you are honest. The sky doesn't fall when you reveal your truth. Life continues. And often it becomes richer because now you are participating in it as yourself, not as a projection, not as a performance, not as a carefully constructed image, as you. There is immense power in that. You don't have to reveal everything to everyone. Discernment is wisdom, but where it is safe, where it is earned, where it is mutual, let yourself be known. Let yourself be understood. Let someone see the real texture of your thoughts and the depth of your heart. And if they cannot hold that, if they cannot appreciate that, it is not proof that you should hide. It is proof that not every space is meant for your authenticity. Find the spaces that are. Create them if you must. But do not trade your truth for temporary comfort. You have spent enough time being smaller than you are. Enough tea. I'm filtering yourself. Enough time waiting for permission to be real. This is your permission. Be seen. not perfectly, not fearlessly, but honestly.